Tonight on DC News Now at 5, President Biden and Maryland gubernatorial candidate Wes Moore holding a campaign rally in Montgomery County. We'll have live team coverage. Plus, it's been a violent 48 hours across the DMV. We have new information on yesterday's mass shooting and how ghost guns are contributing to rising crime.
I have messages for PR Arredondo and all the law enforcement that were there that day. Turn in your badge and step down. You don't deserve to wear one.
And 3 months and 2 investigations later, the Uvalde School District's police chief has been fired. We have a reaction from students and parents in Texas. Your news at 5 starts right now. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us for DC News Now at 5. I'm Chris Flanagan, in tonight for Mark Hall. We begin with that political rally in Montgomery County, Maryland. We have live team coverage of the Democratic National Committee's political rally with President Biden and Maryland Democrat Wes Moore, as well as the counter-protesters outside that venue. We begin tonight with Cheyenne Corinne, who is covering the president and Wes Moore's remarks. Cheyenne, the president expected to speak in about 2 hours or so.
That's exactly right, Chris. So the general election is right around the corner, and that's exactly what brought President Biden here to Montgomery County. Democrats in Maryland say that there's a lot at stake, and they want their party elected up and down the ballot this November. Now, just take a look at this crowd. I just want to show you the amount of people that are out here. I heard that the capacity for the gymnasium is 1,700 people, and as you can see, people are still making their way into Richard Montgomery High School. But we are expecting President Biden to come out with kind of an air of confidence, highlighting some of his recent success, such as student loan relief and the Inflation Reduction Act. We also know that Democratic gubernatorial nominee Wes Moore and Democratic comptroller nominee Brooke Lyerman will be in attendance. Eyes are also on races for the Attorney General, General Assembly, and county executives. So I'm sure some of those candidates will be here as well. Other elected officials slated to speak are Senator Ben Cardin and Congressman Jamie Raskin. Their goal is to rally people to get them to the polls this November. And I also spoke to some voters out here who really are just getting excited, inching closer to the election day, and are excited, of course, to hear President Biden speak, and also Wes Moore. Now, one person who will not be here is actually First Lady Jill Biden. We were expecting her to be joined by her husband, but we know she had COVID-19. She's experiencing a rebound case, so she will not be here. But President Biden is expected to speak at 7 p.m., and we'll make sure that we bring you all of the latest details. I'm here in Montgomery County. I'm Cheyenne Corinne for DC News Now.
And thank you. Meanwhile, Republican gubernatorial candidate Dan Cox was also supposed to be outside President Biden and Wes Moore's rally. However, he canceled his rally just a little while ago. He didn't say why he canceled, but in a statement he wrote, "I will win this November and vigorously serve the people of Maryland as governor because of failed policies of the Biden administration, which Wes Moore is praising, advancing, and will implement, are disastrous for Maryland." All right, joining us now in our live team coverage of the DNC's rally with the president is our political analyst, Leonard Fleming. Leonard, good afternoon. All right, this is the first campaign rally for President Biden this election cycle. He could have gone anywhere in the country. Why here in his backyard, Montgomery County?
Good afternoon, Chris. Look, Montgomery County has 1 million voters in it, 1 million people. So in the end, Biden coming here to pitch the Democrats in his first rally, it's an obvious choice for him. Maryland is on the precipice of going back to the Democrats with this candidate named Wes Moore for governor. He is Oprah blessed, and he is a candidate who some are whispering about him for a future presidential run, perhaps, given the fact that he's an Army veteran, he's a good-looking guy, he's got a family, he's a family man. So in the end, for President Biden, coming to Montgomery County was kind of a no-brainer for him to kick off the midterm push.
Leonard, we know Republican candidate Dan Cox, he was supposed to be outside having his own rally this afternoon. It was canceled late this afternoon at the same location. What do you make of this?
Well, you know, in my political experience, Chris, in the end, you may not have enough people to come and support you, perhaps. I can only surmise that. But look, Dan Cox has put himself behind Donald Trump, and Donald Trump has put himself behind Dan Cox. So in the end, I don't think we're going to hear the last of Dan Cox. It's just, I think with today, what we saw when we came on scene a few hours ago, we just saw a few supporters out here with Let's Go Brandon signs. So at this point in time, I don't think we've heard the last from Dan Cox, but at this point, we have no idea why he canceled.
Certainly no, Leonard, we certainly know politics so much as optics. Leonard Fleming reporting live. We'll check in back you at 6 o'clock. Leonard, thank you. Meanwhile, D.C. is seeing an uptick in gun violence with 5 more shootings yesterday, including a mass shooting. 12 people in total were shot at 5 different locations. 3 people were killed. Metropolitan Police Chief Robert Conte spoke to the media to address how the city plans to stop the gun violence.
Yeah, we want to do what we continue to do, which is when we have situations that happen like this, we want to press it from all sides, not just from law enforcement, but again, you know, we have violence interrupters, we have other folks who are in not the police space necessarily, to really just target that community from a bunch of different angles. I want residents at the end of the day to feel safe in that community. We're putting police officers out there to make sure that residents feel safe in that community.
Yeah, the chief went on to say that MPD has recovered more guns this year than any year in the last decade. Well, the Biden administration's ghost gun rule, which went into effect this week, requires serial numbers in all guns and background checks for those buying kits to build their own guns. Our Daniel Hamburg, following the story for us, joins us today live here in studio. All right, Daniel, you've been looking at how this might affect gun violence here in the DMV, which, of course, is at a crisis level right now.
Well, Chris, in short, there's no easy solution to stop the shootings, but anti-gun violence advocates believe it's a good first step to keep guns out of the hands of criminals. Ghost guns are guns that are untraceable or built from a kit with no serial number. D.C. Council banned them in 2020, but even so, the problem has gotten worse.
There's a lot of guns in this city, and this police department has seized more guns this year already than all of this time last year. We're over 2,000 guns recovered.
Of those 2,000, 344 were ghost guns. You can see in this chart the number of ghost guns seized by police in D.C. and Maryland continues to rise.
One of the reasons why gun violence has continued to skyrocket and raise is because of the availability of weapons, and this ghost gun market has made that so much worse.
In April, President Biden announced a new federal rule requiring background checks for anyone who purchases a build-your-own gun kit and requiring sellers to put serial numbers on new parts. If a dealer wants to resell a gun without a serial number, they have to add one.
This rule will have a critical effect in ensuring that the problem doesn't continue to grow, and it is an absolutely vital first step in the equation to be able to get a handle on this market.
This week, a federal judge denied a request to pause the rule, so the Department of Justice is now enforcing it.
What the state laws are doing are more comprehensive than what we have with this federal regulatory change, which is why we are still urging at Brady that Congress take the proactive measures to not only deal with the prospective weapons, but those weapons that are in circulation.
Aiden Johnston with Gun Owners of America, one of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit, said in a statement, quote, Biden's so-called ghost gun ban will not save lives, reduce crime, or do anything besides infringe on the rights of law-abiding citizens. Going on to say the rule is a violation of the Second Amendment, and GOA is committed to continue the fight with our lawsuit, Morehouse Enterprises versus ATF, and in the next pro-gun Congress. Maryland's ghost gun ban went into effect earlier this year. The Virginia legislature, on the other hand, failed to pass similar legislation last year. In the studio, Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
All right, Daniel, thanks. Well, one man is dead, another injured after a shooting at McDonald's in Prince George's County last night. This is a new video from the scene showing that investigation. It's also along University Boulevard in Hyattsville. Officers got that call around 9:30. When they arrived, investigators say they found one man who was shot who died at the scene. Officers say that second man, who was also shot, walked into a nearby hospital. His condition tonight is unknown. Well, today, 12 current and one former officer with the Prince George's County Police Department were indicted under several charges, including misconduct in office and theft. Prince George's County State's attorney held a news conference today saying the officers were working under a private security company while on the clock for the police department. Investigations stem from another internal investigation. 13 of the officers are facing charges of theft scheme up to $25,000. Another officer is accused of theft up to $15,000. The chief expressed that each and every one of these officers will be held accountable.
All people, including officers, retain the right of due process under the law. Yet the allegations on this large group of officers are deeply troubling. If the allegations are proven true during the judicial process, their actions not only tarnish the badge we all wear proudly, but also erode the community's trust.
We'll have much more information on the officers and the charges later on DC News Now. Well, some Montgomery County resident is without a home tonight after a fire broke out this afternoon at a Bethesda apartment complex. DC News Now's Katie Ree is on scene. Katie, good afternoon. What can you tell us?
Good afternoon, Chris. Now, the most important thing to note right now is that no one was injured in this fire, but right now around 30 people are without a home as 3 floors of the Governor apartment complex, the Governor Park apartments, have been deemed uninhabitable after the fire this afternoon.
We've had incidents here before, but this is a pretty significant second alarm. Required a lot of resources. There's a number of people that are displaced and inconvenienced, if nothing else. A lot of pets involved. This particular building, there are a lot of older people.
Firefighters were called here to the Grosvenor Park apartment complex at around 12:30 this afternoon for a reported fire. Now, the 9th floor of the unit, or there's a fire on the 9th floor in a unit on the backside of that building. It was contained by sprinklers, but there was smoke reported on multiple floors. Now, the operations chief of the Montgomery County Fire and Rescue told me that people living in the South Tower, the part of the building that's closest to the street, can go back into their units. It is all clear, but the North Tower, specifically on floors 8, 9, and 10, are uninhabitable right now, and power is still off in the entire building. And residents not on floors 8, 9, and 10 can go back in if they so choose, but they will not have power. But especially while people are able to go back into the building, at least some people are able to go back in, others here are understandably shaken up.
I am just in shock and kind of scared because I just came back from an orientation at my school. And I came back and I saw like 50 million fire trucks. And usually when they're here, it's not anything serious, but I knew this time it was serious. My first instinct was to know if my mom and my dog was okay, and thank gosh everybody is okay.
Now, again, like she just said, the most important thing to remember is that no one was injured, but the only essentially inconvenience here is that there are going to be a lot of people out of power. But the cause of this fire is still under investigation, and we'll obviously keep you up to date on that. But for now, reporting in Rockville, Katie Ree, DC News Now.
Katie, thank you. All right, let's get a first check on the forecast. Certainly a sweltering day for those firefighters as we check in now with Damon Matson. And Damon, we did see some brief showers here in the D.C. area this afternoon.
That's right. It doesn't take much for these storms to bubble up here in the latter part of August. All it takes is just a little uptick in that humidity, and then you get some of that heat throughout the day. Well, and then those storms start to bubble up, and we did have that one heavier shower move right across parts of Fairfax, southern Montgomery counties, and right through the D.C. metro. We're still watching a couple of heavier showers back into West Virginia. Those are moving into northern Virginia, but dissipating as they do so. But let's take a closer look. Again, this heavy downpour just bubbled up just a couple of hours ago, and you notice how it very slowly moved to the east, and it has since dissipated, but definitely saw some heavier rainfall on the northwest side of the district. And again, it's that combination of the warmth, the humidity, the moisture out there, and we have a front approaching the area. That's all you need to get those storms to start to go. Now, as we go throughout the rest of this evening here, we are expecting to still see a good bit of cloud cover mixed in out there. A few spotty showers and downpours cannot be completely ruled out, but like many of us have been throughout the day, A large majority of the area is going to continue to stay completely dry as we wrap up this Thursday. And notice how it stays pretty warm. We're not dropping out of the 80s over the next few hours. And we are going to have that combination of warmth and humidity again tomorrow as high temperatures climb into the lower 90s with that muggy feel to the air. And there's that cold front I was talking about. It gets ever closer to us. And as we funnel in those warmer temperatures and have that moisture in place, we will likely see a little bit more rainfall in the picture. We're talking about isolated showers and storms for just about everybody. And given how warm it's going to be, we could have a couple of those storms being just a little bit on the stronger side with that heavier rainfall and maybe an occasional bit of gusty wind. So yes, we are going to have a little bit of an active end to what has otherwise been a very quiet weather week.